One of the frustrations that often comes with modern cinema is when things are played very safe. However, sometimes a gamble pays off, and in particular when it comes to stunt casting. Even when fans balk at the casting or there's some other reason to think it shouldn't work, the results can be surprising, capturing lightning in a bottle and being disarmingly brilliant. So with that in mind, I'm Adam, this is Whatculture, and here are 10 movie performances way better than they had any right to be. Number 10. Mickey Rourke, the wrestler. This simply shouldn't have worked because, well, as it seemed, Mickey Rourke's working career was over. He might have had a resurgence of sorts thanks to Sin City in 2005, but the majority of his career had been defined more by the roles that he had turned down and his own private life than any actual screen work. Even after the heat from Sin City cooled after he went quiet for a couple of years, he only got the lead role in The Wrestler in October 2007 after Nick Cage dropped out just 4 months before shooting started. The casting that was never supposed to happen. However, it did, and the performance blew audiences away. Rourke killed it, bringing a fragility and emotional depth to the character that married his physical strength with an emotional vulnerability. It's easily the standout performance of his career, and the fact that he's done so little of note since suggests just how much of a surprise it was. Number 9. Channing Tatum, Magic Mike. Magic Mike is a film about male strippers, featuring highly choreographed dance sequences starring an actor who was mostly known for teen movies and an unfortunate number of stinkers. This was almost destined for the bargain bin, right? Well, wrong indeed. Channing Tatum is pretty much the main reason Magic Mike works so well. This is a great movie. Tatum brings humanity and heart and real complexity to his performance that was as unexpected as the dance sequences are exhilarating. And thank God he brought his A game, because his co-lead, Alex Pettyfer, is nowhere near as good. Number 8. Michael Keaton, Batman. Well before Ben Affleck, Heath Ledger, Will Smith, and Jared Leto were cast to tidal waves of comic book controversy, Michael Keaton was the original unwanted Batman casting. Looking back at it now, you can sort of see why fans were unimpressed. Keaton was mostly known for Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice, as well as some other comedies, and there was nothing to suggest that he'd make a good option for straight-laced Bruce Wayne, let alone be remotely convincing as a superhero. Tim Burton might have liked him, but this was the absolute definition of casting against type. However, Keaton added a tense feel to Wayne that suggested an uneasy disguise worn to hide a coiled spring inside. He is nervous, wary, and uncomfortable, and as Batman, he's the perfect marriage of restraint and theatricality. He's self-conscious in pretending who he has to be in the daytime, while yearning to lose himself in the character he has created, and as a result is brilliant. Number 7. Leslie Nielsen, Airplane. Though you probably think of Leslie Nielsen now as one of the greatest comedy movie actors of all time and the absolute dawn of deadpan, he wasn't even a comic actor when he was cast in Airplane. At the time, he was mostly known for playing serious roles on TV and in film. Therefore, it's not a stretch to say that people weren't expecting him to do so well alongside other incredible comic talents. However, Nielsen had been concealing incredible comedy timing behind his serious facade, and it was precisely his straight-laced demeanor that proved to be the perfect foundation for his brand of comedy. His deadpan skills worked in making his performance funny without needing to change his act in the slightest. Number 6. Adam Sandler, The Meyerowitz Stories. The words Adam Sandler and Netflix haven't exactly combined to inspiring results so far. And films like The Ridiculous Six and The Do-Over prove a popular fan theory that the man uses projects like this to take his friends on holiday while dropping some obvious product placement for the big bucks. So, when this project landed, people were initially hesitant. However, the key thing here is Sandler can in fact actually act, but only when he's given material that doesn't allow him to mug or do that insufferable man-child voice that only he seems to think is funny. Therefore, when he's given content more serious in context with a rein on his performance, Sandler reminds people that he can in fact be captivating, making it frustrating that he chooses to churn out so much crap around these great performances. Number 5. Madonna, Evita. Expectations expectations were set for Madonna to mostly be the same as the majority of major pop stars who have tried their hand at acting, not as good as they are at singing. And the idea of her playing Argentine First Lady Eva Perón, advocate for the poor and workers' rights, without so much as a breakout serious role behind her was just plain baffling. It was surely better suited for some sort of Oscar veteran. However, Madonna is actually very good as Perón, and not just in the musical numbers, and justifiably won a Golden Globe for the performance. Sadly, the momentum following this performance didn't really last, and the rest of her acting performances can be described as average at best. Number 4. Sylvester Stallone, Creed. While everyone knows that Sylvester Stallone is best known for his run as Rocky Balboa, his acting in the role wasn't his best. However, Sly was brilliant in Copland and thoroughly demonstrated his capability to be a great dramatic actor with nuance and emotional depth. But after his brilliant turn in this movie, he quickly reverted back to action-heavy roles in the likes of The Expendables, and while a lot of these roles are incredibly fun, they are a far cry from his performance in Copland and allow him to switch off his brain. So when it turned out he was coming back to the Rocky franchise in an Obi-Wan Kenobi role that would test his dramatic acting chops, it didn't look like a great match. Stallone carried the role with care, lending a vulnerable philosophical element to the film, and without punching to do it, his performance made one hell of an impact. Number 3. Eddie Murphy, Dreamgirls. By 2006, the only good string Eddie Murphy really had left to his bow was his part in the Shrek franchise. Otherwise, he was skirting dangerously towards becoming a parody of himself, wearing more and more prosthetics in place of real actual performances. And let's be honest, while a movie adaptation of the hit musical Dreamgirls didn't exactly scream an opportunity for dramatic nuance and flair, Murphy being cast in a weighty role seemed oddly out of place. It's not like he'd ever really done much drama before either. However, Murphy was amazing as a volatile, vulnerable drug-using Jimmy Early. He drew on his performance as Buddy Love to give Jimmy his obnoxious streak, but balanced it with something cracked under the surface. It's a shame that we don't often see him in more dramatic roles since. Number 2. John Cena, Trainwreck. When he was cast in Trainwreck as Amy Schumer's boyfriend, John Cena basically only had WWE Studios roles under his belt. On top of that precedent, he's a professional wrestler, and the track record of grapplers in movies isn't exactly shining. Obviously the exception of Mr. Nanny aside, because it's a great time. And yet, despite the chops needed to pull off comedy successfully, Cena nailed it. His natural theatricality in the ring and his charisma translated perfectly to comedy, as his brief supporting role in Trainwreck garnered lots of acclaim. He proved he was willing to poke fun at himself, that he had the necessary timing, and that he could bring surprising depth to the character. Number 1. Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight. It's crazy to think about now, but Heath Ledger was nobody's first choice to play the Joker. Looking at the names who've been linked to the role over the years, a clear pattern emerges. Willem Dafoe, Adrian Brody, Crispin Glover, David Bowie. There's a certain level of inherent weirdness to them, which lends itself well to the clown prince of crime. In contrast, Ledger was heading towards a wholesome leading man position. He'd been a teen heartthrob, a historical lead, and a romantic hero in the Oscar-winning movie Brokeback Mountain. Potential audiences at the time were sure it wouldn't work, but oh boy were they wrong. Ledger's performance ensured that he quickly became the poster boy for unexpectedly brilliant casting. He was unrecognizable from his former roles, having agonizingly constructed his character out of pieces of Batman's source material and his own ideas. It is such a shame that this stunning transformation will forever be soured by his tragic death. However, his portrayal is iconic and will forever go down as one of the greatest ever comic book movie performances ever. And there we have it, folks, our list of 10 movie performances way better than they had any right to be. But make sure you let us know down in the comments of your favorite surprise movie performance, and while you're there, make sure you give us a like and a cheeky subscribe. If you want to follow me on socials, I am @Strawn87 across all social media. Come and say hello to me on there. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, your week, and your month. And until next time, take care.